is up, guys? Eric from B-Sonic here with another Eric here, and we're gonna be doing something cool for you guys today. So you guys know about our Encore X DSP Amplifier. This specific one we have here is tuned for this 8-speaker model, the Toyota GR86. It is the ENX 106, and this powerful DSP amplifier is a plug and play install to this vehicle. It also has the power sub out. So we're gonna utilize that line out feature today to get the full functionality of this amplifier. And we are going to connect it to this Alpine mono amp. This provides 330 watts of RMS power. And we're going to connect this amplifier to this JBL Bass Pro hub. We're gonna be installing this JBL Bass Pro hub inside the spare tire wheel area. So let's stop the talking, get inside the car and get this, and that installed. So first what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take apart some interior parts. I need to get behind the radio here. That's why I'm going to connect this plug and play harness. So let me actually show you what's inside this box. There's the amp. There's a USB cable to connect your amp to a laptop for tuning. And here's the plug and play harness. So the plug and play harness you see here is what we are going to connect behind the radio. So this part is going to get routed to the amp that we're going to mount under the passenger seat. And this over here is going to connect behind the radio. And let me get started at removing the interior parts. So let's first drop down the drop box. I'm going to pull this towards me. And then on the side here, you do have to remove this side panel plastic piece. This is a panel removal tool. And let's get this removed. And next, we will remove this. To remove it, use a Phillips screw and remove this Phillips screw right here. And once that's out, just place your finger behind this panel. Just pull it towards you. You can use a panel removal tool to assist. It's just clips that's holding it in place. Next step, we are going to drop this panel down. Stick your finger here, pull it towards you. We're going to use some masking tape right here because it will rub against it. Also place some masking tape down here as well, just so I can protect the nice finish on these climate controls. All right, so let's go back here. Place your fingers behind this panel and just pull it towards you. Okay, and then we're going to move it down, all the way down here. So after we remove this, so let's remove the vents here. Just place your hand behind here and you could just pull it out. Okay. You can also use some panel removal tools to assist. And look under here, there's a connector. Remove this, press down on the release tab and then pull on the connector, not on the wires. Okay, now this will expose the 4 10mm bolts. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Just a heads up, these 10mm bolts are very, very tight. Let me loosen it with my wrench first. That's why. Okay. Make sure you guys remove the correct 10mm bolts because there's one right next to it. That's not it, it's the one on the bottom, the one that's connected to the radio. All right, so once this is out, we're gonna pull this out. I recommend putting a thick towel here to protect your interior. Here's some moving blankets and grab a firm hold of this and just pull it towards you, like so. All right, and just pull it out. If you have a difficult time pulling your radio out, it's because these harnesses here, it's kind of stiff and it's probably tucked in back here. So you do have to give it a nudge to pull it out. So once it's out, let's do our connections. So looking back at this connector here, the 10 and 6 pin connector, it's all the way on the bottom, passenger side. See it here, just press on a release tab, pull out. You could wiggle it out left and right if you have a hard time removing it. And then grab our harness. So the female side of our harness will connect to the male side of the original harness that was connected to the radio. Okay, and then the same thing for the 6 pin. Make sure you hear that click. That confirms that the connection is made correctly. And we'll go back to the radio side and we'll connect the male side to the radio. Okay, there it is. See, it's right here. 6 pin here and a 10 pin right there. Grab the other side of the harness here. We're gonna route it through the back of the radio towards the passenger side. We're gonna catch it over here on the bottom and then route it towards the rear seat. So I'm gonna go down below. You'll notice it's like most of the sides are blocked, but there's an area that opens up. I was able to touch both of my fingers. That seems to be where the factory cables are routed to. So I'm gonna go towards there. If your hands are a bit on the thicker side, you may need to use some assistance of a cable routing tool. All right, so the cable's back down here. It's already routed. That's all we needed to do behind the radio. So we're gonna put the radio back in. All right, that's in. Let me put the whole interior back on and then we'll work on the passenger side. Just a bit of caution. Careful with these screw holes. Can cross-thread them very easily. So just be very careful when you're screwing these back. All right, terrific. All the factory panels are back in place. Now let's go over here and let's route this wire down under the seat, plug it into the amp, and that'll be done with our amplifier install, and the rest is gonna be just a subwoofer. Another thing that you wanna be cautious about when you're mounting the Encore X DSP under the passenger seat, the seat does sit a little bit low. So because of that, some of the connectors and wires may get in the way with the amplifier. So stick your head down there, organize the wire in the way so it doesn't get caught, especially if the passenger seat often gets adjusted front and rear. You don't want it to get caught on the amp and the wires being pulled. Especially there's wires down there that's related to airbags, so you don't want to mess with those. Here's the cable. So we're just gonna push this in through the side right here, all the way towards the back. And let's scoot the chair all the way forward. Okay, I'm gonna continue on tucking these wires. Tuck it just well enough so that you can't see it and it won't come back out. There's different ways to go under this. This connector here actually should be thin enough to go under the seat rail, so I'm gonna do that. Reason why is if I leave it back here, I don't want to get caught on the seat rails if the seat is being moved often. So there it is. And now that it's here, let's grab our amplifier, plug it in. Like so. We have the remote wire that we will connect to our new aftermarket amplifier that will power the subwoofer. So this will be connected separately, and we'll add some Velcro tape down here, which will stick onto the carpet under it. Okay, so if you stick your hand under your seat, you'll find a flap, like a little piece of carpet flap on the back side, and it's covering all the wires and connectors. So basically this piece here, okay? Don't mount in front of it, because if it does, then it may get caught up in a lot of the harnesses and cables. So we wanna mount it right behind it. So even when the seat is pulled forward all the way, the amp won't grab it. So if you have a floor mat on the rear seat, right where the floor mat ends should be pretty good, like right here. And then rest of the harness, we will organize it. We'll put more on towards the center console so we have less extra wires. Here is the Velcro with instructions. Okay, like right here. And this is not going anywhere, stuck on there like glue. Before we permanently fix this amp down under the seat, let's get the power subwoofer all installed, connected to this, confirm everything is working all right, and then we will clean up the wires after that.
Oh dude, there's a spider right there with like that.
Oh dang.
Hey guys, how's it going? There's 2 layers to this. So the first one, this is the easiest part of the install. You basically just grab these wings right here, fold it inward, pull it straight out. We took that out prior, but just showing you how it's done. And then right here too, it should have 2 flexible on the side, just like a man array. Fold that in. Don't press it too hard. Just get it right here. It should slide right out too. And then on the bottom, this is where the spare tire well is. This is where we had that styrofoam fitting in there. This is where we're going to be mounting the JBL Bass Pro Shop. First thing that you're going to notice is there's a screw here in the center. That's where you know that the spare tire is supposed to go. And JBL, in all their mighty wisdom, gave us a perfect little nipple to fit this into. They give us 3 different wing nuts. So to secure it, you just want to fish around.
So it's still too long.
Still too long. So they did provide us with this extension. The only thing that the customer did mention is that he wants to not forfeit any trunk space. We'll worry about this part in a bit. We won't tighten it yet. I guess we'll just do the other stuff to save time. This right here is the power and ground. You can always get these extended. In this case, we are not going to use them since we're planning on mounting both of them inside of the trunk of the spare tire well. It's on this side, which is perfect because we actually have the DSP amplifier in the front going to the right side. So once you hear that little click, and then never pull it by the cable, you always want to pull it by in there, make sure it's in there, wiggle it side to side. All right, tight fit. And this right here, this is going to be what's holding this down here. You just want to make sure that you pop that out. Don't do too hard, just give it a little inside the wedge and give it a little, oh, so we got some more tabs in there. These are going to be a lot easier to remove. If I show you one of them, they're all actually going to look like this. This one might be easier to look at. This right here, you see a little opening on the side. Basically, you just put a little bit of pressure in there, pop it slightly up. Don't do it too hard. These are plastic, so they're not as strong as metal, easily breakable. But from the inside, you can just hear the release in there. So once you shove that in there, right there, shove that right in there. And then we got the last one in this corner right here. And you always want to make sure you have a hard count on how many you took out. You took 5, we have 5 right here. Then wiggle it, and right here, this should all come out. And then the last one is held on, actually by the one that I showed you earlier. If Zeus has been kind in my voyage, what the heck? It should pop right out. Okay, now we'll go ahead and slide this right out here, and we could begin to see the little opening of where we're going to route all these cables to. Okay, so the best thing that I'm going to do, that's the handle. We're going to do a little sneak attack. Sorry, I need to release the rear seat down. He's going to do it for us. The 6-foot Eric is going to take the seat down for us. Oh, hang on, move this out of the way. And there you see full exposure to the trunk. Good visual, and then we could plan to meet the amplifier right down the middle. So we'll go ahead and get the amplifier, and we already know what's going to be headed to the amplifier already. It's going to be these RCA cables and the remote wire. The power and ground that you see here, that is going to be hooked up to this subwoofer, and these 2 speaker wires are also going to be connected to communicate with the Bass Pro Hub, Bass Hub. That. So if we're looking for good mounting locations, this seems like a good spot. He did mention that he just didn't want to use trunk space, but after kind of looking around here, it doesn't seem like it has a flat enough surface to kind of support this, even if you kind of move. But then again, it's not like a super flat surface unless you want to like Velcro it, or it's actually not bad. Looks like the best location for mounting would be around here. Just for now, let's plan it that way, and then let's move forward. These, it gives you a nice little diagram on the side, how everything's gonna be. Sub 1, sub 2, sub 1, sub 2. And then so we just follow along that cord here. So we're just gonna separate it right here. And then you see you get power and ground on one, and then right here you get the other. This is going to be a sub -1, +1, +2, -2. From what I read in the instructions, those are going to be for ohms. Subwoofer, the lower the ohms are better. What we'll do is we'll only use the right side, and then the left side we'll insulate, we'll tie up, we'll hide it away. They made it super easy on us. Once you get that loosened on this side, right here, we'll just loosen all of them because eventually we're going to use all of them here. So the red and black for the plus and minus, these are going to be the 2 that's going to be communicating with the subwoofer. It comes with it already. This one is going to be a big power cable that we're going to route all the way to the front past the firewall and to the main battery. This is going to be the remote wire that's going to communicate with the DSP amplifier, letting it know when to turn on and off, and ground wire because nothing's going to get powered without any kind of ground. This one, I give it a little twist, and then I give it a little candy cane. I give it a little candy cane twirl. I know there's a bunch of other ways better probably to do this, but this has worked for us. If it's not broken, don't fix it. We shove that bad boy right in there, and then you want to give it some love. Righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. Give it the same treatment right in there. Try to hold it in the center while you're pushing it in. I know it moves around because it's, you know, it twists in there. I just want it to have as much contact with what we're screwing in as possible. Okay, and once you feel a little bit of resistance, since this is the long end of the Allen wrench, I like to stop it right there. Give it a little tug. Seems like it's pretty secure, and then we'll tighten just a little bit more before. I haven't tightened it too much. I feel like it would strip the wire, so be careful of how much you tighten it to. These are pretty flexible RCA cables. Now, the reason why I'm doing all these connections first and not routing one by one is because A, it's not time efficient, and B, I want to route everything at once because it's time efficient. So since those are outs on the amplifier, these are going to be going in. We'll color coordinate white to white, and we'll color coordinate red to red. We can adjust all of this later. But we'll set this bad boy down right here because we know we're going to be using it. We'll route this cable, and then we'll point it towards the front just so that we know which ones we have to send up there. So we'll put it right here. And then once he's done, hopefully we could, we'll go ahead and get everything up there. And so the next thing we're gonna use, remote wire. You wanna grab a little snip snip, we're gonna go ahead and just, same with here. Ta-da! And same treatment right here. You wanna give it a little candy cane. This is gonna go on the other end. This one is gonna go inside of our remote. You go right to where it says remote, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. Try to keep it in the center as you're going down. And then once you feel a little there, oh, of course, we're gonna do some wire management, try to clean everything up. Now, power wire. Because 6-foot Eric is working over there, we're gonna go ahead and pop the hood, and we're gonna plan where to route this because there's a fuse. This will be to protect the other components of everything that you're using. Basically, the idea is this goes in here, the other end will go to the battery. This fuse will blow before it blows anything else. So if you stop getting bass, stop getting sound, if you overload it, this is what you'd want to check. This is what you'd want to change. It's better than changing like thousands of dollars of what you just did.
All right, it's all you.
Oh, you're done?
Yeah.
It's crazy. Come around, pop the hood. Looky right here. Beautiful little grommet entrance right there in the firewall. That's where we're going to be entering. If you feel like your hands are too fat like mine, you could remove the battery, make it easier for you. First thing that we're gonna do, we're gonna disconnect the negative terminal battery. Oh, wow, that just came right off. I didn't even loosen that.
Why negative first?
Why negative first? You wanna get the negativity out of your life. And without negative, there's gonna be no power to the car, so you're not gonna have any chance of you hurting yourself or any of the above. Right here, and then the battery nipple clamp. You just wanna give it a nice little wiggle, wiggle. And this one, don't worry about shocking yourself. It's only 12 volts. Alrighty, and then we'll set this kind of off to the side. And then we're gonna have these two clamps here. Hopefully this is long enough to, I will use a wrench. The 8 milli wrench here. If this is 10 milli, I'm gonna cry. We need a 10 milli wrench. You could use a deep ratchet for it. It'll work just fine, but in the essence of not going back and forth, you just loosen one side, get it out of captain hook under there. That side should follow suit. Just gotta find where that hook is and release. I'll set this down here. The battery, heavier than you think. Nothing's too heavy for me. So if I were to show you with my hand, it might be a little bit hard, but right where this white plastic trim piece is right there, are you able to see that? Right behind it, this is basically the casing for it. Right behind it is the grommet where we're gonna be entering. So if you don't have a grommet piercing tool, it might take you a little bit longer. Some people like to use flat head screwdrivers and anything that would help you pierce it. Luckily, we have just the thing. It might be easier to go from in and out just because of that plastic piece, that trim around it. You don't want to go from outside in and accidentally damage it or something like that. So at least we know the point of entry for that. We'll go ahead and snip this. Normally, yeah, you guys might have bigger wire snippers. We don't normally do installs like this. We do make a couple exceptions. So I'll make a little pilot. Right there is about where we want to cut. Man, this ain't big enough. After that, I'll clean it up a little bit. And this part we will use later, so I'll keep this in a safe place. And for now, let's route this. We might have to remove this piece actually, just to make it easier for ourselves. For this, sorry I didn't mention it, you just reach your hand in there, just give it a little pop. Don't give it too much pressure, just feel it, go one by one. Alrighty. And this piece should wiggle right out. Maybe it has one clip in there somewhere, contacting it. Oh, there you go. Oh. No wonder why. These are the stubborn ones. Later on when you take it out just like right here, give it a little slide, and then we'll push it back in here so that when we reinstall it, just pop it in. Now you have a better field of view of where that grommet is, and then we'll take this puncture tool, and you want to make sure that you go through and through straight because there is a big clump of wires and harnesses there. The last thing you want to do is puncture one of those. Alrighty, and the first puncture did go through, and then I'll check the other side. So right over there, underneath the main wiring harness, do you see that little, it came right through there. Now, we got more room to work with. Nice little word of advice. I already did it through the bottom, but maybe the top would have been easier. This will help it stay when we pull it back in. One thing that I do want to do, I want to bring some more wire up here, just so that when we pull it, we have enough slack. That way there's no tension and it slides off of the tape. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull it very slowly, and as I pull, I want to make sure that it doesn't curve as much as possible towards the top as much as I can. When you're pulling it, don't just pull it from right here and yank it. As you're pulling it, creep forward, creep forward, creep forward, and then once you feel the tape, I like to grab the tape and just pull it just so that this doesn't come right off. So now that we got the power wire through, we just want to give it a pull, 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 pull. Make sure that just about to enough slack that you're gonna need. And we'll keep the battery disconnected too, because I mean, good rule of thumb, just to be on the safest side possible, you do want to disconnect the battery when you're working with anything electrical in the car. From right here, we could kind of already plan where we want to route this. Because the reason why I like Toyota is they give you everything you want right here. Look at that. Look at that routing. It's like they knew you wanted to add a powered subwoofer because their stock audio is lacking a little bit. Right, Toyota? And when it gets tangled, don't pull it and stretch it out. You just want to correct it and then pull it. That way you don't stress the wires too much. When you look down here, what is all these tabs? You can stretch it out a little bit, tuck it right underneath. Make sure that it actually doesn't get pierced by anything. You want to follow this wiring all the way. So I'm gonna take this gasket off. Okay, so right here. So you don't need to lift it too much. We just want to get this power wire tucked away, nice and hidden. Follow the same harness. They route it for you already. And then this is where we'll tuck everything else and go through the back. Is right here where you see that mess of wires is where I'm gonna route it to. There's a little bit of an opening on this end right here, which I'm gonna let this pass through. Make sure that it doesn't snag on anything. Does it clip in to that hole? Yes, it does. Perfect. And then we could start to use this. And then when we lift that, we'll go ahead and route this one underneath here, go all the way along the back, make sure that the wires are hidden. We'll route this underneath, go in between the chair, route this underneath where the chair is, where that opening is, and then we'll feed it all the way along the back, and then it should pop right out. Feed this through a little bit here. And then once I stick my hand in here, I'll feel for this bad boy. See, just for visuals, it's right here. And then we'll continue to feed this through. And looky what we got here. Once we put all this stuff back on, nobody's gonna see this. So we have the other end of the power cable right here. I'll go ahead and bring you back around to show you how we're gonna route the rest of it. There should be an opening actually behind this that we could just route the cables through, right? Yep. And so that's what we'll do. This is probably the saving grace of anything that we own. You just push right here, and then it retracts out this claw. This we're gonna use to grab the wire from underneath, just to make sure that it clears. We'll pop this piece up. Be careful not to snap it. And then underneath here, there's a little hole. That's where we're gonna be grabbing the wire from. We just can't grab it right now just because the seat's in the way, and it won't clear this metal. Okay. Can you press and then let go? And then can you feed it through or pull? I'm gonna try to do this. There we go. So basically this right here, we have to route underneath it. There's no way unless we take out the whole back seat. And there's no point in doing that if we could just go right underneath and then route it. This will go underneath the seat right here. I tucked the power wire on the side of the seat here. So there might be times where for the power wire, especially because since it's such a thick cable, you want to adjust the seat forward and backwards just to make sure that you're able to route it where you want it to route. Also so that you could test that the seat won't clamp on the hose or anything. So that's done, and this is going to go to the power right there. The remote wire we're also going to bring around and do the same thing too. To feed it through the same way, we're going to use the same principles as we used kind of towards the firewall and the grommet. So I'm going to tape this actually to the power wire, and since this is already routed, I'm going to untuck the power wire that I tucked, and then if I pull on the power wire here, this remote wire should follow along with it, meet me on the other end. Once I take the remote wire off of the power wire, then I'll pull the power wire back, and then wherever I taped it is wherever I stop. See that? And now the remote wire's here. What the? Son of a bitch! Okay, remember to hold on to the remote wire when you pull your power cable back. You see it fed through the other side. This time I'm gonna make sure that enough is kind of coming through. It should go pretty silky smooth. And that's how we remote our remote wire after the power wire, or that's how we like to do it. We routed it underneath the seat, along the side, and then if you could see to the blind eye, clean install, you can't see where it is at all. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna make my life easier. I'm gonna take this off, I'm gonna route it underneath. And then that way we could go underneath this panel and then meet the amplifier on the other side, since that's where he routed his remote wire. All right, tuck it in, dental floss that, tuck, tuck, tuck. And then we will put this bad boy back on. Get the plastic finger of justice, tug, tug, tug. We'll just give it one more tuck for good measure. It's gone. All right, we'll route this along there, tuck. There's a little clips right here, which means we could put the wires right behind those clips as we're flexing it, and then we'll leave it right there for Eric number 1 to see what he wants to do with it later. And now, I did overlook this, the RCA cables, we will be routing the same way. If you guys are watching, do it with the remote wire. Double check what else you need to route, so you only need to do it once. Don't be like me. I'm so disappointed in myself.
It's all right.
Just tape it towards the end, not on the wire. And then we'll begin the pull, 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 pull and push. Ah! And we got it. Right on the other side, remember, take off the tape, pull, 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 pull. Now, we will go back and we will pull power wire, and then we'll tuck all of this back in underneath the seating. These RCA cables, most likely we'll route it the same way. So right now we're gonna do a sound test. We're just gonna hook some stuff up. Very good rule of thumb that you wanna learn doing these is you never ever want to fully install everything without testing. If you do and you find that it doesn't work, you gotta peel everything back apart and then you turn it to a loser. And then just for the sound testing portion, let's do that. And just for now, temporary. And RCAs for the sub, right here it says sub L and sub R, and these are not labeled sub L and sub R. So how do you know which one goes in which? We'll follow back the subwoofer, or the amp, sorry, and then you see this one is R is red and L is white. Easy to remember. Follow whatever it's labeled here. So in our case, the sub R was with the red. So you just follow that color coordination, plug it in like so. Power wire, we'll go ahead and trim it up later just because we want the wires to be a lot cleaner than this. I'm gonna trim just that plastic piece around it, okay? And once that comes out, we'll give it a little twist. And this goes into the much bigger battery terminal fitting. Right there. Righty-tighty, lefty-loosey once again. And then we'll do the same for the ground wire, and we'll ground it to chassis, something probably like right here. Same concept here. Give it a clean twist, get off all the loose wires. This should fit perfectly. And then I know it's a little bit long right now, but we're just gonna test it. And then for the ground, we'll probably ground it to, is a 14 millimeter. We're gonna loosen it right here. Not too much, just enough to slip this in for testing. We don't wanna take it all the way off because that is a suspension. And then we'll just shove it right there for test purposes. Good contact. And then now, the last part before we do testing is the battery portion. This is the fuse that I mentioned earlier. This also. So this, when it comes off, you'll see when the fuse blows, this little metal line right here on the inside of those plastic casings, you'll see it either pop, you'll see a burn mark, it'll be very noticeable. And to remove those, you just get another Allen key in there, take those out, replace those fuses. You could probably find them on Amazon, but since it comes with it, we'll use those. Same concept, loosen it, same on the other side. See how much is gonna go in there, plan it out. It's gonna be about right there. Oh, pull, pull, pull. Give it a nice little twist, twist, twist. I will shove this right in there. Twist, twist, twist. All right, and for this one, I will tighten it all the way because even after testing, this is just how we're gonna wanna do it. And that side will hook up to the battery, and then the other side will expose it same way, and we'll hook it up over here. I'm sure there's a tool for this. We don't have it, and it should just right there. To get that all clean, we're just gonna test it right now. We'll trim it up later. Barely doesn't cover it. So we'll adjust it again to make it more like this. You wanna have at least wires exposed as possible, but we're just gonna be testing. So the battery's back in. This right here, we're going to unscrew that 10 millimeter and stick that one right in there. That way it will receive power. We'll go ahead and clean this up later, but right now, just for testing purposes, we'll have everything hooked up back in. Anything that we do is reverse order, so we'll put positive first, and then right here, we'll go ahead and Loosen this bad boy. All right. Don't lose your nut. This right here. Then we put on the negative. Now we are ready to test.
All right, guys, we connected everything up. We want to do a test before we clean up all the wires and all the panels. So let's turn the car for the first time and see how it sounds. All right, there's some audio, which is good. All right, let's check. Their bass coming out.
Very weak.
Is this turned up?
Oh, no, we didn't adjust that at all.
Oh, it's at minimum. Okay, let's see. That sounds nice. Let me connect my phone. Sounds really good.
Yeah?
It does. The bass does sound different if you run it through an amp. There's more deeper sound, right?
Yeah. When you were turning it and adjusting it, it sounded, I was like, oh, because it didn't sound like much from the back, and then when I came here.
It sounds really good with the DSP. Hey, Bob. All right, well, we tested the sound. It sounds pretty amazing. I mean, if you guys have the extra money to get a separate amp and a separate subwoofer, so next step, now that we confirm everything's working, we're gonna just tidy everything up. Clamp the wires, the harness, and also put all the interior back and finalize with mounting the amplifier, and that will finish the installation. So we'll have Eric finish it off.
All right, so what we're gonna do, obviously we're gonna adjust this because too much of this is sticking out over there. We're just gonna ground it. We did have to adjust this a little bit. We just kind of cut off the ends from the full circle just because it didn't fit around there. Stick this right here. Close this right on there. Okay, and then we'll tighten it. And then we'll get our snippy. Much better. And then we'll give it a nice twirl. And then we'll go ahead and tighten everything else. Okay. Now that everything is tightened over there, go ahead and we'll move this out of the way. We tried both of them, smaller one, larger one. It does not clear the sub. So we're gonna trim on the bottom here using a Dremel. If you don't know how to use a Dremel, go on YouTube, work your way forward. And then we go ahead and measured how much space that we needed. We went ahead and taped it off. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. Now, before we begin, safety glasses, always key. If you're working at home, still use safety glasses. Don't try to act cool. Try to wear gloves too, because fragments, I mean, it doesn't hurt, but if any of those fly at you, high speed, your boss doesn't want to pay for your medical stuff. So, and you don't want to do medical stuff. Okay. And be careful when you remove it in the beginning. It is very hot since, you know, you spun it like a million miles an hour, hours a mile. Now, let's test the size of my nut. Oh my God, watch it barely not clear. That's crazy. Okay, we're gonna go back to the drawing board. So what we did is we got a Dremel, we cut it to later find out on the forums, everybody else did that too. We took off about like what, 2.5 inches, almost 3 inches. These, and I'm a little OCD.
Well, if you have OCD, that's not standard.
You could suck my ass. One thing that we did explain to the customer is that due to the limited space, he was fine kind of just putting this here because he didn't want to compromise any other space in the trunk. We're just going to put some foam tape, wrap it around the edges here, put it here so it doesn't move or rattle anything. So we'll put some foam tape here, here, and right here. And we'll wrap it around right here. We'll go along the long side, same way to the other side, go along the edge. And then from there, we could figure out how we're gonna do some management with the wires. And right here, we'd have to insulate these. And then once we cross this, we'll make sure that all of these kind of get hugged right here, and we'll slowly organize our way up to the top. And then right here, I feel like I'll just tie it like this. It's as clean as we'll get without mounting it anywhere. As Ben mentioned a good point, just in case. It's not pretty, but I'd rather be safe than pretty. Now let's start putting stuff back on. We'll start with this side already, and then this will line up right here. We'll stick this bad boy in here. All you need to do is make sure that this is lifted away from it, and then once you insert it, you pop it right in there. Now that we did that, we're gonna put this styrofoam piece right here that we removed earlier. Once we have everything fitted, we do have some cables in there now that should lift it up just a little bit, but okay, once weight goes on there, it will be fine. Alrighty, we're not gonna put the middle piece back in. We are going to fold the wing, come right in there. These will fit nice and beautifully. Then we get the carpet, also slide that right in. And there we go. Now we're gonna come around to the back. We went ahead and stuck Velcro to the bottom of it. We're gonna stick the DSP amplifier right here, right before the rear passenger carpet. We just slid the chair back and forth. Other places it was getting caught right here. It does seem like it has a full range of motion for the chair. And so now we have about, what is this, a mile of remote wire? We're gonna just route it right over here on the long side. We're gonna bring it around. We're gonna trim it up just so that there's not a bunch of extra wires just sticking out. And then we'll clean up the wires down here and we'll route the RCAs that way as well. For routing the RCAs, we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna grab a 10 millimeter. It's all good. Alrighty, and then we'll route the cables underneath. The remote wire we did clean up, so this RCA cables. Just remember, red on the bottom, black on the top. I'm gonna go underneath right here. And we'll go underneath. This one doesn't give you a lot of slack. Okay, and then when your fingers aren't strong enough, of course, just a little bit more. Okay, now we'll put the seat back. And then these RCA cables, we'll feed it underneath the bracket, bring it underneath so it doesn't get in the way. And this up here, this will come down from the bottom. Same with the remote wire. They're way too much. Alrighty, and then I feel like right up to the edge of the seat here should be more than enough. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna connect the remote wire. We're gonna get these pulsey taps, and so we'll just feed this right through. Right at the end of this, you're gonna see a little bit of metal. And then once you kind of braid that in there, it should be snug. Give it a little tug. And then we're gonna do the same for the other side. Just made my cut, just trimmed the remote wire. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do the same thing. Make sure that you put this in first through, otherwise there's no point. Making sure that this catches on the inside of those grooves there. And then we're gonna be tightening this. And then once this is fully tightened, give it both a tug. They're not going anywhere. Red back to R, the other one back on top. And then right there was our sweet little spot, that wire in, and then we will zip tie the rest of these and to clean it up a little bit, and then we'll place it right here where it won't get in the way of anything. And then just to make sure that this all doesn't get tangled anywhere, and then we'll grab this to the ends right here, and we'll tie this right to the bottom. Grab this one just to make sure that that clump of wires don't move. And then hide it under the seat. So once you have the seat going back, you won't spot any of that. Alrighty? Last thing we're gonna do is we're gonna put some wire loom on the front and then stick the fuse to the battery casing. Probably should have started from the bottom. All right, perfect. Tilt it down, clean, clean, clean. And then we'll wipe this here with some isopropyl alcohol. Give that a stick right there, hold it right there for a bit, and then we'll be done with the install. Okay, and we're just gonna use alcohol to wipe the side of this, make sure we prep the surface. Give it a good wipe. Stick this piece right here, there. Peel this piece back, and then we'll stick this to the side right here. Give it a good press.
All right, guys, we just finished installing our ENX DSP amplifier for this 8-speaker GR86, and we're very excited to let Oscar know how it sounds as well, and let's see what he thinks about the whole audio experience. All right, so just to walk you through everything, now we have the Encore X DSP amplifier installed in here, along with your new Alpine mono power amp that's powering your new subwoofer. So let's see how it sounds.
You hear all that?
Yeah.
You like it?
I like the power. Yeah, it sounds clear. I wasn't sure if the stock speakers would be able to handle it, but it sounds good.
It does, yeah. Yeah, stock speakers, surprisingly, it's pretty decent. Yeah.
All right, Oscar. So what do you think about the whole sound system?
It sounds really clear. It sounds nice with the power and the bass.
Yeah, especially combined with your subwoofer. I mean, it sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, if you add a subwoofer to any sound system, it drowns out the whole entire system, so you can't really hear the other audio.
Mid and the
low, in the mid
high.
and the highs. But then in this case, because the DSP is specifically tuned for this car's cabin, it does a really good job delivering the audio to the listener while the bass is not drowning it out. So there's that separation of different sounds and tunes. So it sounds pretty amazing.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, likewise. Thank you so much for allowing us to install in your car. As well. All right, thank you. Thanks again. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
All right, guys. Well, that does it. Thank you very much for watching our video today. We showed you how to install our ENX DSP amplifier on this 8-speaker GR86. And in addition, we also showed you how to install a subwoofer to this. This one has a separate subwoofer and a separate amplifier. I mean, this car setup just sounds very amazing. If you want to add another, either a power sub or a full-on subwoofer amplifier system like you seen here today, you can do either or depending on what your budget is. Well, once again, guys, thank you always for watching and supporting our channel. If you haven't yet, help our channel, give us that big thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. See you guys in the next video.